Good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Holy smokes, I don't know what's going on, but this live has been crazy. So, I hope you guys can see us. Chaz, you're on. I'm happy you're on. You said you were having some troubles. Hey Josh, how are you? Chaz, what happened where you couldn't see it before? Because I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. What would a coffee with Carla be without technical difficulty, right? Yes. So I'm going to get Dave on here. Let's get going. There he is. We're going to add him. And I need some coffee. Good morning.
Hey, can you see me?
I can see you perfect.
All right.
Okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this live and it's going to go smooth and it's going to be awesome. I literally don't know what happened. And it's weird because some people could see it, some couldn't. So we'll share it and we'll get it out there. So
Well, I got a big
go ahead.
I got a big giant cup full of goodness here.
You've got the nice cup from Cup Slanger, it looks like.
Yes.
She did a
Rusty's
great job, eh?
the
Uh-oh. Are you there? Yeah, you're there.
I'm
Okay.
getting all the notifications.
Yes, Mike, if you could do that for me for the sharing part, that would be awesome. I'm going to share it on my own personal page, but if you could share, please do. Why don't you introduce yourself, Dave, so everybody knows who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Dave. I part of the installation station. Been part of the group. Now, let me see. Is there a way I can turn off my notifications?
Yeah, it should be in your settings. You should be able to do that.
All right, hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. It's part of what we do here. How's everybody this morning? Jeff Siegfried, thank you for saying hi. Have a good day at work. Wouldn't let me connect. Okay. Keith, Mark, how's everybody? Scott, we got a few people on. Oh, we've lost him. He'll be back. He'll be back. We'll let him shut off his notifications. Oh my God, you guys, it's been a week, it's been a day, it's been whatever. I'm in the process of moving and it's just been absolutely insane. My internet wasn't working. It's been one of those kind of days. So we will get him back on here. There you go. Okay, so Dave, when you come back, say hi and we'll get you added. Still in the process, Josh, still in the process. So it's been something, let me just say that. Today's the big day, so we will get it all taken care of. Let's see if we can get Dave back on here. Uh-oh, Dave, make sure your notifications, or not your notifications, but your settings are on public. And if that doesn't work, then if you can request to be invited on, it's at the bottom of your page. What's everybody else doing? How's everybody doing? What's happening with everybody in everybody else's world? Hey Chris, how are you? We'll get Dave. Oh, Dave, why won't it work? We'll get him on, don't worry. Don't worry, people. Okay, so Dave, at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to request to come on the live if this doesn't work. Hi, Jamie, how are you? There he is. We'll get him back. See, I told you guys. No panic, no panic. We're all good here. You're on your way to work. Well, I'm glad you're able to tune in. Okay.
Hey, sorry about that.
All good. Okay. So let's do your introduction again.
Oh, it's still doing it. Let me see. All right, I'm trying to figure it out here. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've
Are you
never
a
done
multi?
that.
I know it's all good. Don't worry. Are
Okay.
you? We'll be okay.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe I'm good now. All right.
Okay. You know,
So,
just because there's an exciting thing that's going to be announced, we're causing a little bit of drama. A little
no,
bit of,
that's fine.
it's all like the hype part. We'll go with
No.
that. So why don't you introduce yourself again?
All right. I'm Dave. I'm uh, I'm happy to be here this morning for sure.
I'm happy you're
I
here.
do. I'm part of the insulation station. We do. We manufacture tools. We build spray foam rigs, repair spray. Yeah, we do just about a little bit of everything. So
And
training,
when
good
did
stuff.
you guys start the when did you guys start the insulation station?
Um, well, we started. My dad started a spray foam company back in 1991,
Mm-hmm.
called Advanced Insulation Technology. It was we were I think the 41st Icing contractor
Oh,
that
okay.
of like all time. He was one
Wow.
of the Yeah, he was one of the very first insulation companies in Michigan that sprayed foam.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and since then, it just grew from there. We started building our own tools kind of out of necessity because at that time there was no tools for this industry. Nobody was making tools or selling tools. Everybody was just kind of using like wood saws and anything they could get their hands on to cut this stuff off the walls.
Right.
So we he started making a couple tools, and before you knew it, other contractors were saying, "Hey, where'd you get those?" And things spiraled
Yeah.
from there. One thing turned to the next, and before you knew it, he was building a ton of tools all the time. That
Very interesting. What's is there? Does it? Is there a like? Does it? Do the tools? Is it? Is there a line of tools like, or do they just get a hold of you guys and
Oh no, we have a full line of tools. We
yeah?
have a website where we sell them, and we have a showroom. You can walk in, buy them.
Okay.
Um, there's everything from hand saws to power saws and planers, airplaners, geez, you name it. We build marketing tools, as you can. Here's one behind me. That's our
Right.
that's the hot box we're giving away today.
That's
So
right.
we're not giving it away today. Today's just the announcement. It will be given away soon.
Right.
Um, and yeah, all these things were built because they didn't exist. So,
Okay.
it was invention out of necessity, if you will.
Right.
So we needed
So
them. We did it.
we'll make sure that the link is in the comments at the end when so people can find you and they know where to go. So 1991, you couldn't have been very old. How old were you when you started?
I was 8 years old, and I
8 years
was
old.
I was cleaning up foam for I think $1 a bag. I would fill up a big trash bag, and my dad would give me $1 for doing
Oh,
that.
hilarious.
So
Oh,
that.
that's what you were talking about. Okay, because you said $1
Yep.
bag. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty
Yeah,
cheap.
every bag I filled up, I would get $1, and that he'd pick me up after school. We'd go out and to a job site, and where him and the guys worked spraying foam all day, and then at night he would cut it off, and I would clean it up, and we did that for a while, and then I got to be in my teens, and oh, I wanted to spray when I was 9, 10 years old, but of course he wouldn't let
Right.
me. So,
Right. Yeah.
but so as I got into when I became a teenager, I would be, weekends during the summer and stuff, I would be working. And well, eventually one day I was a helper on a crew, and the sprayer, I told him, I said, "Hey, my dad said you could teach me how to spray today," which of course was not true at all. And he said, really? I said, yeah. He goes, well, it gives me a break. So, I suited up. He put the gun in my hand and I started spraying. I couldn't have been 15, 14, 15 at the time. And
Wow.
anyways, so a couple days go by and I'd been spraying and my dad stopped out to a job and said, oh, it looks pretty good. And he says, yeah, Dave's doing a good job. He's like, what? But ever since then, I started, yeah, then I was kind of became a sprayer and I sprayed for a lot of years.
Right.
Became pretty good at it. Um, uh, back then it was mostly open cell that we were doing,
Right.
and it wasn't until later in life that I got my hands on some closed cell. And kind of after that, then I traveled across the country working for a company called BioBase. I did all their rig trainings, new rig setups, demos. Um, yeah, that was really fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. I got to meet a lot of people, see a lot of different rigs, different setups, different ways people did things. And I learned a ton. I met some great people and just, and then after that, I came back. I got the traveling thing got to me. So,
Right.
and I settled down, had a family, kids. So you can't, I couldn't travel 280 days a year,
Right.
and have a good relationship with my kids. So I stopped, and then I got a job here in town, managing a large commercial contracting company for, I think we had 4 spray foam crews, a couple of cellulose crews, fiberglass crews. I managed the whole spray foam end of it. Got all the guys set up, and and then I did. I worked with my dad at that time. It was part time,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then that landed me pretty much where I am today. Full
Right.
time now. This is what we do. And we're busy 5 days a week because we try not to work weekends. But
Right.
yep. Other than that,
How
I just. Oh, go ahead.
how would you say, what would you say about working with your dad? Is it an easy thing to do? Is it challenging, or is it a little bit of both?
Oh, it's definitely a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Um, no, it's working with family is always going to be a challenge.
Right.
Over the past few years, I'd say, working with him is became more. Um, I don't know what the right word to put it. Working with him is a pleasure now because hey, who gets to work with their dad every day? And I
Right.
work with my mom too. She's a big part of our company. She runs all the books and does just about everything.
Oh,
So,
wow. So it's really a family, like the whole family's in there. So that's
yep,
awesome.
yep.
Very good. I've
So,
worked for family businesses before, and it's a definitely an interesting dynamic for sure.
yes, it can be interesting some days,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Some
no,
day,
it's good.
most days were awesome, but yeah, there were times it gets a little bit of challenging. So I know, to be coming from a farming community, there's a number of people that I went to school with, or that that I know that work with their dad farming, and that's
Hmm.
always the same thing. It's like, oh, that's some days it's a little challenging, but most, like, they're very happy they're able to work with their dad. That's kind of
Yep.
it's a privilege, really, if as long as everybody gets along.
Yeah. Oh, we have our moments, but for the
Yeah.
most part, it's good. So,
That's awesome. So when you were spraying foam, was there anything that you would say was the biggest challenge, or that
uh,
you went through?
well, I did. I got into a pretty serious chemical accident when I was working at. It was called R Value Installations when I was managing this spray foam company. Um, One of the guys had called me and said, "Hey, we're down. We can't figure it out. We don't know what's going on." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm close, so I'll stop by." When I stopped out to the job site, um, you know, 90% of the time it's the gun. Something's malfunctioned or jammed up or crossed over. So, I got there and they were just not. It wasn't working for them. So I told them, "Go ahead and take the pressure off, and we'll pop the gun." So they shut the pressure off. They give me the thumbs up. The 2 little gauges on the front of the machine read 0, and So I go ahead to pop off the gun, and as I turn the resin valve off, this center bolt on a AP Fusion gun snapped, and there was there was a jam up in the uh, ISO line about 50 foot back. So from 50 foot from the gun to the gun was probably about 2,000 pounds of pressure on the A side. But
Got it.
at that time, the, the equipment didn't register that because at the machine it's telling me there's no pressure. So when that bolt broke, it hit me with, about 130, 140-degree ISO. And just kind of, luckily I was wearing safety glasses. That's about it. But it pretty much
Wow.
covered my whole head, shoulder, arms. I mean, just covered in ISO. And,
Wow.
the guys really didn't know how to handle that. So, the first thing they did was got water. And
Right.
anybody who knows ISO knows water doesn't react well to ISO. So it heats it up pretty substantially and solidifies it almost instantly, turning it into hot liquid plastic. And
Ooh.
pretty severely burned. It was it was bad. I had to shave all my hair because it was plastic at that point. So
Right.
I bet over that from that day on, I had an isocyanate sensitivity. Um, so I really can't be around the chemical anymore. Do what I do now because I don't have to go out and spray or work with a chemical. But it took me a couple years to really recover from that. It's a pretty serious chemical. It gets into your skin. Um, it takes a long time for it to work itself out. And that results in a lot of just rashes and just all around nastiness every day. You know,
Mhm.
does it keep blinking on you here?
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, um, it's every time I get a comment.
Oh, okay. Got it. The
So
notifications. So
yeah,
you would have had to be. Were you in the burn unit, or what? What did
no,
they do, or how did
I
they treat you?
I well, I went to the hospital and they pretty much had no idea. And I mean, it wasn't like severe burns. It was a lot of chemical burn. Um, but it was just more of anybody who's got ISO on them knows you pretty much have to wear it off. It just doesn't. There's nothing that takes it off. So
Right.
it it took several months before I had it all off me. And from there, it was just a day-to-day struggle with sores and stuff. So, but a
So
couple years later, I bounced back and
yeah.
back back to regular self. So luckily, I
Yeah.
wasn't left with any horrible scarring or anything like that. So
It's pretty traumatizing though. Like that's not something that you can go through very easily and just go like, yeah, that happened, and that's the reason I think that people get all weird about safety and PPE police and all that stuff, but it is like, you and I talked about this yesterday. It's so important because people don't understand that, like, that one little thing, not that that was a little thing, but one little thing can change things forever,
yeah,
so it's serious,
right,
and you can't fool around with chemical.
right. And it is. I mean, a lot of people you know, toss around the like, it's a spray foam rig, but it's really more than that. It's a mobile chemical processing facility.
Right.
And we don't treat it like that. A lot of people treat it just like a job. This is what I'm going to go do. I see a lot of people out there, spraying in half-face masks and t-shirts, and it's like if I jumped on every post where I seen something, I would be, pretty much labeled Mr. PPE Police. But
Right.
no, we take it pretty seriously here. I mean, we do spray foam here in the shop. We spray trailers and um, other stuff like that. We do demos, and so if it's happening here, it's always done properly.
Right.
It's just you can't. a lot of guys take it way too lightly, and they don't know that one little thing can change your life and
Right.
what you do every day. So
So you said you have a sensitivity. So what happens when you are around?
um, I'll get a really tight chest. It'll
Oh,
just
really?
yes, it gets hard to breathe. Um, I'll break out in rashes.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll get um, I'll get very bad headaches, like that. If I'm around the fumes I'll just get a headache that'll last days, just won't go away.
Right.
So yeah, it can be really, I just try to stay away from it because I don't.
Right.
It's awful. It really is. I
For
mean,
sure. How
somebody
many?
gets that, they
How
won't
many?
realize until they get it.
Yeah. How many years ago did that happen, Dave?
It was about, I think probably about 10 or 11 years ago now.
So still to this day that happens.
Oh yeah, it'll never go away.
It never
Yeah,
goes away.
no, it's a
Wow.
allergy, and once you get it, it's not gonna, you'll never ever ever go
You
away.
have it forever. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yep.
that is, I'm sorry that that happened. Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. But what great testimony for everybody else to,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's serious and it shouldn't be joked about. And I know it's taken very lightly, but it's something that everybody should take very seriously for sure.
Yeah, it is something that it should be addressed more and talked about more because,
Mm-hmm.
as we go forward in this industry, I know a lot of rules and regulations are changing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I work with our local home builders association, and I've talked with our local. It's called Laura. It's the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, and they're coming out with new regulations here in our state that will. It's going to definitely change. This spray foam industry here might take a hit because
Right.
of the regulations that are going to be put in place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when exactly all that's going to happen, but it's definitely talked about, and it's definitely being talked about more and more
Yeah.
nationwide, and it's going to get regulated. The government will step in and say, "Hey, this is not okay the way you guys are doing things." So
Right.
the
Yeah.
now we have equipment nowadays. Accurate Dynamics, their equipment is really revolutionary. It's they have they've took everything about this equipment
Mm-hmm.
that there was an issue with and figured out a way to build in safety features and different things. Like, for example, their spray foam hose has pressure sensors. The pressure sensors are actually at the gun. So if you have pressure out to the gun, that machine's going to tell you that.
Right.
A lot of people don't know, but those two gauges on the front of your machine, that has nothing to do with what's happening at your gun. Nothing at all. All those two gauges tell you is the pressure at the back pressure of your hose at your machine. That's all those gauges tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So what they've done is they've changed that and said, hey, no, we're going to show you the pressures at the business end, and that's the gun. So if I would have been, if that hose, if I would have had that hose, I would have never had my accident because we would have
Right.
known that, hey, there's pressure there still. But
Right.
that, just on like a Graco or a PMC or any other type of equipment, it's just, they don't have that feature. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to me, it's just revolutionary. I mean, it's like a knife to bread. It's, in my mind, it's necessary.
Right.
We should know that information. The more information we can get from our equipment, the better. And that's really what they've done in their equipment is say, hey, we want to give you the most information you can so we can give you, the best success, best chance for success doing what we're doing every day.
Right.
The other part they do is the ratio assurance. I mean, it's not an assurance; it's a guarantee. Um, sorry for the pausing. I'm
It's
not sure
okay.
I can turn that off. Every time somebody comments, it pauses.
It pauses, yeah.
Yeah, but they do what it's a ratio guarantee. It's a guaranteed 1-to-1 ratio because of how they've created their system and their gear pumps and how it actually supplies the material to the hose. So it's uh it's definitely going to be a game changer. And once
Right.
uh, the guy Trey Cook is the inventor of this equipment. He's the owner of Accurate Dynamics, along with a few others, and he's the I mean, the man's an absolute genius when it comes to this stuff. And what intrigues me more about the um, advances in the technology and that is Trey's passion for safety. And they've modeled these rigs. They've built them like a chemical processing facility,
Yeah.
so they're safe. And in his attitude and perspective on safety and doing things the right way is, really blow your mind if you talk to him. He's just awesome guy, and always takes care of everybody, and
Right.
puts the safety, in front of the equipment, but he builds the equipment, you know, to match all that, and it's just top notch what they do. They've
Right.
actually they've gave me a ton of stuff to give away today. I mean,
Yeah,
I
we've
have
got some giveaways to do.
a
So,
bunch of shirts, hats. We've got. I mean, I'm sure I got a beer drinker in the audience somewhere who wants a bottle opener, and because it's Coffee with Carla, we have a bunch of coffee cups we're gonna send out. So
yeah.
we're gonna send out a bunch of stuff to you know people who are watching.
Yeah,
So
so how do you want it? Should we do some of those now maybe?
yeah.
Okay. How do you want to run it?
Oh, you know what? I was just planning on
Oh, just going
doing,
through.
yeah, just going through the comments later and giving
Go
away.
ahead. Now we're going to be on pause cuz you guys are going to light it up. Sean,
Yeah,
that so I guess if everybody can just not comment for a second. Dave will
yeah,
explain what's going on with the hot box because that's something that's not being given away today, but it is gonna
yes.
be given away. So go ahead, Dave, and tell them how that's gonna work. Nobody
Um,
comment though.
all right.
Okay. So how's the
All
hot
right.
box gonna work?
So the hot box, I mean, I think everybody pretty much knows, what they are, what they do. So somebody needs to
Mm-hmm.
tell Josh to stop commenting.
Josh, stop commenting.
But as far as the hot box giveaway, so I've had a couple conversations with Bill Bilbin,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he does a lot for the group. Thank you, Bill. Um, but I asked him to come up with a good way to give this thing away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're sponsoring part of the new rig that's going to be given away. Um, we're putting on a lot of the accessories and all the tools and whatnot. So, but part of that, part of like this year, the 2019, and being a sponsor with Spray Foam Worldwide is we wanted to give this away.
Right.
And I know the rig, you have to be like an owner or own a company and all that. This is going to be anybody that's in the group can win this. It's not going to be, there's no limitations on who can win. But so I asked Bill, I said, how do we give this thing away? And I waited and waited and waited, and I don't
Yeah.
think Bill had a good answer for that. Um, so and then I was like, I don't know how to give it away either. I wanted to do something unique. So what I've come up with is, um, I'm actually going to let the members decide how it gets given away. I couldn't come up with a good solution on how to do it, and so what we're going to do is immediately following this, I'm going to make a post with a picture of the hot box on my page, the Installation Station page. Go to the page, give it a follow, and then underneath that post, put a comment down about how you think it should be given away. And then we'll take the top, 3 or 4, contest ideas, and then we'll create a poll on Spray Foam Worldwide and let the group choose how it gets given away. So, yeah, so that's how we're going to give it away.
When will the giveaway be happening? Or are you'll put that in your post?
Yep, it'll be in the post. I'm going to talk with Bill on, when we're going to give it away. I don't know if we're going to give it away at an event, or maybe we'll just go live again. But yeah, everybody will just have put down their idea how the giveaway should go and what a good giveaway would look like in their opinion.
Yeah.
And we'll take the top 3, put it on Spray Foam Worldwide, and create a poll and let the group choose, because that's how I think it should be done.
Right. So everybody, make sure after this live, you go over to the installation station. Make sure you like the page. First of all, not just the post, like the page. And then you'll see when Dave puts that up there. So what was I going to say? I was going to ask you something and it just left me. So it's all good. Oh, I know what it was. So you have been a member of Spray Foam Worldwide since when did you join the group?
Oh boy, I wasn't right away. And I'm still getting paused here. Sorry.
It's okay.
I've been a member for over 2 years now, maybe 3, something like that.
And how did you find it? How did you find the group? Did you get invited, or did you just come across it?
Somebody told me about it. Somebody asked me if I was a part of that Spray Foam group thingy on Facebook, and I said, no, I'm not. And so when I did find it, I was like, wow, this is a pretty neat page. And then I joined the group, and it's pretty cool when I joined the group because I got to see and talk to a lot of people I'd connected with through the years of traveling, and they were there, and I reconnected with a lot of other industry professionals that I've known, friends, family, that were part of that group, and then I get, it was cool because then I got to interact with these people again, and just I made a ton of friends. Rusty, Jennifer, you, Bill, Robert, just a ton of people that, I didn't know before, and, now I would consider, part of my good group of Facebook friends, and just real life friends too, because, I talked to some of those people outside of that group, and I didn't know them before, so, and, there is going to be some, it's this and that, and, little arguing and fighting, but for the most part, the Facebook groups just it's a wealth of knowledge. It's it's made my life easier. I don't get half as many calls as for tech stuff now, and then I see some of those people who would call me, post to the group, and ask for help, and they get it. So there's a ton of people out there willing to help. So.
It's changed the face of how things are done, for sure. And like you said, none of us we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So it's pretty amazing what that group has done, honestly.
Yeah, no, it is. And the rig giveaway that last year, that was huge. We were part of that last year and donated some stuff, some accessories that went on that rig last year. This year we really doubled down, and what we're donating to it, I can't share because it's secret, and I think Robin would probably fly out to Michigan just
don't be messing with Robin.
Yeah, don't mess with Robin. Did
you see her?
I maybe have a little bit more inside scoop of what's going to be on that rig and going onto it than most, but I tell you what, it's gonna blow your mind again this year.
Well,
doing. So
you just want to make sure you're on the right side of Robin, because man, did you see what she took with her to lunch the other day? I mean,
oh
you gotta stay in
yeah,
line.
definitely can't
She's the
share too much,
best.
but
She's the
yep.
best. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's happening. And you're gonna be in at the conference?
I am can't give an answer to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping I'm gonna do everything I can to be there. So my husband's gonna like pretty soon tell me to just stop talking about it, because it's like, okay, I gotta go, like we have to be there, and he's like, I know. So
Yeah, yeah. I would hope to be there. I'm not so sure it's something I'll be able to do. I mean,
right,
we just the day-to-day stuff here and what we do is just swamped. We're
right.
swamped. So hopefully, I mean, maybe things will change and I'll make my way down there. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
you've got two kids, right?
Yes, two daughters.
Two
Yep.
daughters. How old are they?
They are 5 and 12.
Oh
So they
wow. So that's pretty young to be like you said, traveling is a little bit challenging because you don't want to be too far away from them for too long.
yeah, no. Yeah, and I am a single full-time daddy, so um
Wow.
it's takes it's challenging sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's rewarding, so
Yeah.
I
So
love it. I
how
love them.
yeah, how do you make so I'll ask you, because this is what is always asked of women when they work and they are, whether it's single parents or not. So how do you balance that with what you do and your kids?
Um, Boy, I just one shoe at a time, like everybody else does, I guess. They're both in school, but through the summer, it was an interesting summer this year. We have like a conference room here, and
Yeah.
then we kind of converted half of that conference room into we put a TV up and got cable, and we have a whole bunch. My mom, I say we like because my mom put
Right.
a bunch of art stuff, and we got toys, and she would do projects with them throughout the day, and so and they have a blast
Hmm.
coming to work here with me, and not every day, but a lot of
Yeah.
days they would, and um, it was an interesting summer with having them here. It was fun. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun, but balance it. You just do your best. After I'm done here today, we're gonna take them to this like a fall festival
Oh,
here, and
okay. Yeah.
do pumpkin painting and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you just do your best. That's all you can do. So,
Yeah.
I got
That's
some great neighbors that help me out, so that's always
that's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah. It's that's the whole thing, this parenting thing is like there isn't a manual, and you just kind of have to, like you say, put one foot in front of the other and hope for the best.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's a crazy ride for sure. And anybody that's doing it by themselves, that's, it's just 10 times the challenge, and 10 times, just everything, because it's just you. So that makes it pretty tough sometimes. It's rewarding, but it's tough because kids are that's just what kids do.
yep.
They can be challenging
hmm
if we put it nicely.
I know. I'm sure they're watching right now too.
Yeah.
So,
So 12 and 5, like that's very interesting ages too. You've got almost a teenager and then one
yes.
just starting school. So that's got to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I have the one just started middle school this year, and then the other one just started kindergarten. So they're both in school full
Wow.
time now.
Yeah.
So they really love school. I mean, it's it's challenging, but they
Yeah.
the homework's tough. Jeez, oh Pete, that
I've
math they do nowadays,
I've
it's
heard.
it's
What do they
ridiculous.
call, is that what's it called?
Co- the Common Core, I think, the Common Core
Right.
math. I don't get it. I'd have to get a
Like
tutor for myself just to figure that out.
math was hard when I was in school, and it was just math. So I can't
Mm-hmm.
even imagine. Like I would be, yeah, I would be in trouble for sure. So
For sure.
yeah, but So what else did we had? Let me just look. I took notes when we were talking yesterday. I don't do
Yep.
that very often, but
I see Drew just joined, so
hey
from
Drew,
Accurate.
congratulations on the twins, by the
Yes, Drew,
way.
congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And Drew was the one who helped me out and get all this awesome Accurate swag that we're going to be sending out. So
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you about the hose. Going back to Accurate's hose, the smart hose. The most asked question outside of price, obviously, was from what I saw, was always the weight of that hose.
yeah, that hose is 60% lighter than any other hose out there right now. And it's because of how they heat the hose. It's it's a wire that's internally through the hose, not wrapped around the outside. It's a lot smaller. It's a lot more efficient. It heats the material itself directly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's not a hose that maintains temperature. It's a it's a hose that will build temperature. I think in 200 foot of hose, I think it's capable of raising the temperature before it gets to the gun 60 degrees. And that
Wow.
is, I know, so a lot of the guys here, with the smaller machines, E20s and stuff, sometimes during winter, and I'm sure up in Canada too, they struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
keeping
Mm-hmm.
that hose warm and that material warm. And that's, you got to have warm material, otherwise you're not going to make good foam.
Right.
So, yeah, the biggest question I get about that hose is price. Um,
Right.
because it's not the cheapest. But with that said, it's not like any other hose. Um, like if you compare it to a Graco, for example, a Graco has one FTS sensor, one fluid temperature sensor in their hose. Like an accurate hose has six fluid temperature sensors because it's that much more accurate. It monitors that temperature on the A side and the B side individually
Mm-hmm.
throughout the entire length of the hose. That's how they're capable of really dialing it in. Um,
Right.
I mean, just the quality of the materials they're using, the temperatures. I mean, and then it has pressure sensors in it, and it's so there's a lot more that goes into that hose. That's just that that's not in any other hose. So
Right.
it's that. I mean, when people say, "Oh, it's expensive," well, there's a reason for that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's because you're not buying, like for the temperature sensor, and you're not buying
Right.
just one. There's six
Mm-hmm.
of them in there. So, and
Right.
and then it comes with a controller box where you can really dial it in. And
Mm-hmm.
we've got one of their host systems hooked up to our Graco E20 right now. And we had a demo here not too long ago, and we actually forgot to turn on. Everybody was playing with the controller box of this
Mm-hmm.
host that we forgot to turn on the temperatures on the machine, or the heaters on the machine, the preheaters. So we actually had about 70 degrees in the barrel and no preheat at all on the machines. And we still made great foam because the hose was capable to get it up to the temperature we needed it at
Wow.
by itself with no heat from any other
Mm-hmm.
source, just the hose.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of these guys running the smaller machines with the smaller heaters on them can put one of these hose on and be a rock star in the middle of winter. It's
Yeah.
it's well worth the money. Um, and again, the safety features that are built into
Right.
that are don't exist anywhere else.
Right.
So
Yeah. I was just seeing somebody said something about your testimony about the chemical. It was Scott Burney. Thank you for the testimony on the ISO incident. All of my guys will watch this Monday morning. So there you go. That's something that's super important to, like we said before, it's safety should be number one for sure.
yeah,
You
yeah, and
know,
like Drew just said, it with everything dialing in the pressures and the temperatures with the hose, you're going to increase your yield. Anytime you can increase your yield on that product, and that product's not cheap, um, you're saving money in the product. And
right,
if you can save money consistently through every job, honestly, that hose will pay for itself,
right,
comparatively speaking. So
yeah, Right. So we're gonna make sure the links to get to you are in the comments once we're done, and we'll go through and answer all those comments. But does anybody have any questions for Dave? It'll freeze, but you can ask the questions and he'll answer after he's unfrozen.
Yeah.
And again, if people just are joining now, at the beginning we talked about Dave's accident that he had. Did you say it was 10 years ago?
It was 10 or 11 years ago, yeah.
Right.
I'm not real good with dates, so.
Yeah, with
But
with chemicals. So you guys will definitely want to go back and watch that because it's very, very important to hear what he has to say. And I'm glad you shared that with us because it is something that isn't talked about enough, for sure.
yeah, definitely the safety end of this industry needs to be more well addressed than what it is in some of the stuff I see. So,
Right.
but we do our best. We do a lot of training here, and like I've got a guy coming in, bringing his just bought a new rig. Well, not a new rig, but he bought a rig, and he's never done anything before. So he's coming in to learn how his rig works and to get the training and some of the necessary tools.
Yeah. Jason Lawrence is asking, does the add-on hose system for Accurate have the ability to regulate pressures as well as temperatures?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question because when you're dealing with foam, it has two different chemicals, and the iso and the resin are two different viscosities. So when you can regulate the temperatures on the A side and the B side separately, then yes, you can dial in your pressures more evenly. It doesn't have a pressure regulator as far as regulating the pressure because if you're doing the add-on system, that's what your machine is going to do. Like if you're E20, for example, that's what that's providing your pressure. But when you can, if I take one material and I have it at 138 degrees to adjust and it'll tell you the pressure towards the end of the hose, you can dial that temperature up and down and it will affect the pressures. It'll even them out and make it so you can really dial in your pressures with the temperature of the hose. So
right.
No, it doesn't regulate pressures, but yes, it does in the sense that you can independently change your temperatures and that will regulate your pressures. So it's just another tool to help really dial in your system.
Right.
So.
And what else was I going to say about that hose? And you guys said it's 65% lighter than other hose.
Yes, the whip on the end is 25 foot long, and that 25 foot is 65% lighter than other hose. And I believe, Drew can correct me if I'm wrong, but the rest of the hose is about 40% lighter than traditional spray foam hose. So.
Give a pressure differential reading so you know what to do with the temps. That's what Drew is saying.
Yeah, it does. It shows you the pressure on the controller. So if your pressures it'll say, hey, you got 110 pressure and balance, and you're seeing your ISO's way higher than your resin. You can kick up your resin heat to compensate those pressures, but it'll give you a digital readout. So yeah, it tells you what the pressures are on the hose, and then you can dial it in from there. So it's really just something when that came out, I didn't really want to, get into a new company because there's a lot of gimmicky stuff out there. And when I actually learned about it and did my research, I was so intrigued that me and my dad jumped on an airplane. We flew right down to Texas and we went right down there. We toured the plant. This amazing facility they have. We got to meet all the guys. Garrett Cook, Trey Cook, and Travis, that's the cooks. Trey's the owner. Drew is son-in-law, Travis. It's just, they have a great family dynamic there. They work very well together, and it's not a gimmick. It's the real deal.
It's legit.
What they're doing.
Yeah. I've worked worked with Drew as well, and he's a top-notch guy for sure. So yeah, they're the real deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're gonna, well, they're making some noise out there right now, and so they're gonna be, what everybody wants here as soon as people realize, that it's the truth.
Right.
It's gonna be the next big thing in spray foam, with the ratio, not
Mm-hmm.
assurance, but guarantee, and with their equipment. So
Right.
it's really, I'm just, so much is changing in this industry that, you know, I'm kind of, I'm blessed to be at the age I am inside this industry where I am, because the changes that we're going to see coming here in the future, and everything is just, is I'm excited to see it, because there's so much changing. And go back to 1991 when my dad started his spray foam company. I
Right.
think the spray foam industry, or the spray foam end of insulation, was only 2% of the entire industry. 2%.
Only
And I think
two.
2% back in
Wow.
91 of anything being insulated was insulated with foam. And now today, I think I mean, I could be wrong, but I think we're right around 16% of the insulation industry is spray
Mm-hmm.
foam.
Right.
And so the growth on that over the last 7 years has been huge.
Yeah.
So, and it's just that the economy is good right now. Buildings are going up like crazy. Um, you look at some of today's architecture, and
Yeah.
in the the way they're building, we're not building square boxes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They are building, everything's curved and radiused,
Right.
and you just can't. How do you insulate properly with any other insulation than foam? And have some of these, it gives architects and builders just a huge, huge advantage, to do what they want and be creative, and
Mm-hmm.
build buildings that they see in their head, because now we can insulate them properly, and make them work the way they should. Where in
Right.
the past you just couldn't. You can't take a square fiberglass bat and put it in a round hole. It just doesn't work.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And I think too, it's, there's with social media and just technology in general, we have that capability of educating people about the industry. So, people are going to understand it better. They're going to be informed better because we are going to make that happen as an industry
yeah,
as a whole. Right. So,
yeah, they are
yeah.
definitely. Hey Ben, yeah, it's just the advancements of just today's, building practices in general is really amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
being that I'm 36 right now, so um I'm in the, I want to say the early end of my career. So
Yeah.
being going to be able to watch that, through the next 30 years, and see how this takes shape and works is, kind of incredible. So,
Right.
and
Yeah.
there's just so many people out there doing it, different nowadays because of spray foam. So it's just
Right.
changed everything. So
Yeah. No, agreed for sure. So we are just over an hour. So
really,
I know. Remember, I said to you yesterday. I said it goes by so fast. The time flies. But so for the giveaways that you've got, you're going to go through and just let people know you're sending it to them, or how are you going to?
yeah. So
Yeah.
I like I said, Accurate, and Drew from Accurate sent me a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if I got a bunch of these right here,
Oh.
these are flash drives
Oh.
of
Okay.
accurate information. So if you'd like one of these, I've got maybe 10 of them or so. But if you want one of these, they have all the product information, the equipment information, how it works. There's a lot of information on these. So if you want one of these, um, leave a comment that you want one of these, and we'll make sure you guys, get some. And um, if a bunch of people want them, I'm sure I can get some more and send them out. So, um, and, you know, I have coffee cups and hats and T-shirts and stickers, and so yeah, we'll just kind of go through the comments. Um,
Okay.
I mean, if we got somebody in the crowd who's a likes their fancy bottled beer, um, I do
Whoever
have one of these.
comments is whoever the first beer drinker
Yeah.
is that comments gets the bottle opener.
Yep. So I know some of those guys like that fancy bottled beer. Me, I'm just a Budweiser guy. So
There you go.
those twist off. So, but yeah, we'll send that out to somebody.
Yeah.
Um, hats, T-shirts.
Yeah. Yes, Greg Curry, that's right. It's always about continuing the education for sure. And I think that's a very cool thing. So there we go. Tim, oh, are you there? Okay, so Tim Stratton says, Dave, can you get more than 200 feet of accurate setup?
Yes. You can get. Sorry, it's gonna keep pausing.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna send Ben that bottle opener. Here's the
There
first
we
comment
go.
there.
Way to go, Ben. Yay. Tim, it's okay. We know who you mean.
Yeah. So yes, you can on their standard like controller box, you can put up to 400 foot of hose on that.
Oh,
Okay,
450. Okay.
Drew says 450 on the standard, um, and if you have a need for more, um, you just give them a call and they can build something that can handle much more hose than that. I know Danny Batten, he's uh, he's got a setup, and I forget what he said, but I want to say he said 1,300 foot or something like that,
Wow.
or maybe it was 1,000 or 1,200 or something. But yeah, a lot
Mhm.
of you can make it work. They can make it work. So
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be considered like a custom.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Custom build.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Tim says he runs 360 feet.
360, yeah, that's probably 350 foot with the 10-foot whip. But yeah, you can run up to 450.
Someone in Spray Foam Worldwide runs 1,000 plus. Danny Batten. Wow.
Yeah, yep, Danny does. Yeah, I've talked to
Mhm.
Danny. Danny was one of the first people I talked to about Accurate when I was looking into it, and I wanted to talk to somebody who was um, outside of Accurate, if you will, on
Mhm.
their opinions of it,
Mhm.
and yeah, I said, you know what, if in your opinion, if you could do something different with your company, what would it be? He said, I would put Accurate Dynamics equipment on every piece of or every rig I have. And I think
Wow.
he has something like 40 or 50 rigs stationed in the country. He does the pipelines and the ditch stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
but yeah,
That's pretty good
um,
testimony.
yeah, so in talking to him, that's really where I decided that, okay, we're gonna look into this further. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Good. All right. Well, oh, in the oil pipelines and mine closures, he's got a robot for it too. Wow.
hmm yeah,
All right.
yeah. So, again, we're just excited to
Mm-hmm.
see all the advancements and different different stuff coming into the industry. So, yep. And if anybody wants one of the hot boxes, we do sell them. This is the
Mm-hmm.
first one out of the version 3. Yeah, it's a third version. We've changed it, made some modifications to it over the years, and I mean, we've sold, I can't even tell you a number, hundreds of these things.
Yeah.
Um, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They're not plexiglass. People say, "Oh, just go buy some plexi." No, they're acrylic. They're custom made acrylic boxes that are, they're durable. They don't, they won't turn yellow. They're not. It's not plexiglass. So
Right.
they are. I can give you a
Well,
little
they're,
closer look of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best. It's like such a
Yeah.
great tool for people, especially at a
Yeah.
trade show or just to have if they have an
Yeah.
actual like shop, it's great.
And it has a heated blower motor in it, so it'll tell you the temperatures, and you'll see the ping pong
Mm,
balls moving on the fiberglass and the cellulose end of it,
yeah.
and you'll see the temperature rise pretty rapidly in those, and the foam, it just doesn't doesn't move, no air movement. Really, they say if a picture's worth 1,000 words,
Yes.
this is worth much 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 more.
Oh,
So
for sure. Yeah, most
it's
definitely.
probably the best marketing tool you can put in like a trade show booth or in your office or on demonstration for people to see, hey,
Hmm.
it works.
Yeah.
Here it is, cut and dry.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yep.
Absolutely. Because people, it's a visual thing, right? And people are visual. So it really,
Hmm.
it kind of, it's one thing to educate people, but that being able to see it in real life and in real time is absolutely, it's priceless.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
And that's just one of the things that we manufacture.
Mm-hmm. Big wireless thermometer at a trade show for the hot box.
Yep.
Mhm. What else? What else do you guys manufacture, Dave? We should talk a little bit about that.
We do. Well, I brought a couple tools here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this right here is, everybody has one. Everybody knows
Right.
it's we call it the ISO knife. It's a 36-inch. It's hard to get the whole thing in the frame here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a 36-inch serrated edge blade. Um, and we make the handle in-house and punch the holes in it. That handle was designed. There was a guy that worked for my dad. He was using one of these, and when we switched over to using this blade, um, we wrapped duct tape around it, and that was the handle. And he was using it one day, and because there was no uh, part to hold your from catching, as he was sawing, he caught the stud and slipped out, and he cut
Oh,
the digital nerve in his thumb, and yeah, I had to go through a few major surgeries to get that repaired.
right.
That
Yeah.
that's when my dad went back to the shop that night and this is like I forget what they call it, but it's like a cutting board material.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I mean, they'll last forever. But he took and cut up one of my mom's cutting boards, and uh, that's how
And
this
that's where it
design
began.
came to be. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, this is the saw that started it all for us, and we sell more than, I mean, just we sell thousands and thousands and thousands of these every
Yeah.
year. Anybody who works on a foam rig, I'm sure has one of these on their rigs. Um,
Right.
this is just um, this is another tool we make. It's got that longer handle, so it really helps doing like the scraping on like 9-foot walls. And then we just put a scraper head on it. Again, it's made
Mm-hmm.
out of that super durable. This stuff will not break.
Yeah.
Um, we've never had one return broken, or their handles are just, this material just is rock solid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we do. This is this is a closed cell version. It's a different blade on the same
Right.
handle.
Yeah.
Just for cutting closed cell. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit shorter, but it works really good for cutting closed cell. Um, and then we make I don't have any here with me at the moment, but we make a lot of the power tools as well, like the sawzalls. Um, then I have a new one coming out, a cordless model that's gonna be pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
everybody should watch out for that. Um, yeah, we sell a lot of tools, equipment. Um, Big one we've been having fun with lately is the Evo spray stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really, I mean, that's a game changer too, because gun parts are super expensive, and you know Kent has designed these things, and just where he got the price down, and
Mm-hmm.
so it makes it makes everybody's job easier if you can spray with new mixing chambers and good clean equipment and stuff like that. So shout out
Yeah.
Kent and Eva. Yeah, everybody's doing different things now, and it's like I said, it's exciting to watch. So
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've got a number of, yeah, like Kent and in Canada, Blair at Cortez, like they, those guys are all contributing in their, to making everybody's job easier. So it's nice to see that, and they have it's a nice friendly rivalry they have.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
we make other stuff too, rig accessories like we make the barrel racks that were on last year's rig. That we
Right.
put those on last year's rig. Um, they'll be. I have a sneaking suspicion they'll probably be on this year's rig too. Um, so
Maybe,
without giving
maybe
up,
not.
maybe not. Um,
We'll
we make
see.
Yep. So we make barrel racks, we make hose racks, and I mean anything spray foam related, we sell it. From the
Okay.
basic curry combs to Tyvek suits to gun parts, equipment, um, the even the can foam guns. Oh, that reminds me. So I seen. Here's another part of why I like these groups,
Yeah.
because yesterday I clicked on Facebook, and the first thing I seen on Facebook was Eric Gladson, um, out of Wisconsin, not too far away from me. He has one of our. It's called Foam Surf. You can put it's for can foam,
Mm-hmm.
that you do windows and doors with.
Right.
We took it and we had it's a side holster where you put the can in and you put that on your hip. So the can is not on the gun. And it really makes it easy to get into a lot of the tight spaces and get that gun in there without, wasting a bunch of foam.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have a, foot long can hanging off the top of the gun. There's just a little hose attached to it. So I got on
Right.
there yesterday and the first thing I seen was Eric is covered in can foam. And
I saw that picture too.
yeah, he had because he had got one of these from us, and he said he loved it right until it broke. And tools
Oh,
break, you
yeah.
know, and he had a problem with the hose, and the hose broke, But I was able to, without him saying anything to me, without him calling me, I was able to see it right away on the group, and
Mm-hmm.
so I reached out to him and I said, what happened, and so he told me what happened, and so we're gonna send him a replacement hose for that, right?
Nice.
But that's something that's awesome is as far as like equipment suppliers and tool manufacturers and like that go, that's
Mm-hmm.
we benefit greatly from these groups in other ways outside of being able to advertise. So
Right. Yeah, that's right.
yep, so I was able to reach out to Eric, and so we're going to be sending him a new new hose and a new shirt.
Yes,
'Cause-
right. He needs a new
so,
shirt to go with that.
yeah, so he got foam all over his shirt. So um yeah,
Yeah.
he does abuse them, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I just and we've actually and I get a lot of good feedback because on that tool in particular, um, the hose is one of the things that we've upgraded from its original version because of some of the issues we're having with the hose.
Mm,
So yeah, no, we're gonna send him the upgrade on the hose, and he'll be able to get back to work with that.
right.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And like you say, it's so nice to be able to reach people through the groups, like you're saying. And I think it's been a game changer in how people do business, because you can create that relationship so much easier in
Yeah.
in a group than you can just trying to pick up the phone and cold calling or however. Like,
Yep.
you can really create those relationships, and it's awesome.
Yep. And I know like they're doing the advertising thing now, and that's
Mm-hmm.
I know they take a lot of that the resources and monies they get from that, and they put together like that last video they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I tell you what, that video went viral.
Yeah.
That anybody who's got a Facebook page in the spray foam business shared that video to their page
Yep.
because it was all good information, and um, yeah, so they do stuff like that. I mean, if and then the rig build they're doing again. That's just like stuff like that. That change those things change people's lives. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I know
Yeah.
Icing and Pola is they've done a lot too, and
Hmm.
um, actually they've any demo we've had. Shout out them guys because anything we've done, um, they've stepped right up and said, "Yo, no, we'll be part of that with you guys."
Right.
So Icing and Pola has really, they they're a premium product, and anytime somebody has a need, they're right there. Doug's a pretty awesome guy.
Hmm.
Going back, uh, this is quite a few years ago, but Doug used to work the trade shows.
Right.
So, and my dad was like one of the 41st or 43rd um, people in the world, I think, to be
Hmm.
uh, one of the certified icing dealers. And
Hmm.
Doug came out and worked the home show with my dad.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is going back
Wow.
quite a few years, but
Yeah.
yeah, so just being able to be part of all that and see all that happen has been pretty cool. So
I bet. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it goes back to the building that relationship, and that's, for somebody like Doug to go out and do that with your dad, that is so it changes how people see you as a person in the industry. You're willing to go and spend the time and put the work in with the people that you want to work with. And that's
yep,
huge.
yeah, yep. So it's just it's just well, I just love the group. So I mean, there's another
Mm-hmm.
guy I'm working with, Scott. He's he was looking for some some mechanical purge guns. And so over this past week, we've been, I had three old GX7 guns here. They're still in pretty good shape, and you still got. They don't make those guns anymore. Well, customer doesn't, but they uh, they were in pretty good shape. So I reached out to Scott. Said, "Hey, I got these, and we can make them work and get you some slab jacking guns." And so we were able to, help somebody out like that. Before the groups and stuff like that, I would have never known he was looking for something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And then it would have just sat on my shelf because nobody's
Mm-hmm.
coming in to buy a 20-year-old gun.
Right.
So, but yeah, so it's just been stuff like that is pretty cool. It's fun to do, and you
Mm-hmm.
know just reach people like that. So it's pretty neat.
For sure. So, what would you say would be your greatest takeaway from the industry as a whole? What would be your
Um, you know, Probably just the real life experience
Mhm.
of you know my dad's always taught me, if you want something, you work for it.
Right?
And so we, just from seeing it grow has just been, has taught me a lot. It's just not something you can pull the trigger and make money on. It's, it's taught me the value of, hard work. You
Hmm.
don't, Anybody who thinks it's easy, it's, got another thing coming. So,
Right.
but yeah, so I mean, my greatest takeaway is just, the value that it's taught me and, how to actually buckle down and put your mind to something, do something. Uh,
Mhm.
and I've had my fair share of failure too. Um,
Right.
I think we all have,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I've uh, I've taken a lot away. I mean, I could sit here all day and talk about what I
Right.
learned and this and that, but some of the some of my greatest achievements and failures have been in this industry. So
Hmm.
um, yeah,
And I think too, when people talk about failures and stuff, and I used to have a different perspective of failure, because it was like, you thought, oh, a failure to me was like very, like, that was such, a bad thing. And it's actually not. That's how you learn, and that's how you improve, and that's how I now refer to it as failing forward.
right.
You get up and you keep going.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, hey, I mean, I don't want to go into detail, but yesterday here at our shop, we did not have the greatest day. So,
Yeah,
sometimes it doesn't even pay to get out of bed, but, if you don't, then, you won't learn something. So,
that's right.
and like my dad brought it up yesterday, my grandpa said, used to say, there's those who have and those that will. So,
Ah,
and
that's awesome. Yes.
so, so if you haven't failed yet, tighten up your belt because guess what? You will. And
It's coming. Yep.
it's right. And it's what you do after the fact that defines you really.
No,
It's
that's
not.
exactly right.
I feel like what defines you as a person, you know, everybody can put their best foot forward when they got eyes on them. But what defines you as a person is what you do when nobody's watching. So
100%. Yes,
so
that is
do
exactly right.
you always got to be on top of your game. Otherwise, you're not. So
Yeah. And I mean, and if you're not, it's going to come out pretty quick. Like people
hmm
can't, I don't think anymore you can't get away with that for very long if you're not.
no, especially with the way social media is
Yeah.
nowadays and whatnot. It's we've seen a lot of businesses come and go
Mhm.
because you don't stand behind what you do. And
Right.
we've been doing this for a long time as far
Hmm.
as the installation station goes and building tools. Um,
Yeah.
and I firmly believe that's because you know people have learned they can trust us and with buying stuff from us or having equipment repaired or whatnot. We're fair, we're
Hmm.
honest, and hardworking. We'll stand behind what we do.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
if
That's
if you
integrity.
weren't, it would be well known very quickly, and we would have already been out of business. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, word of mouth travels, but now, like we were saying, social media, you can't. You're gonna get outed pretty darn quick, and you're gonna be put on blast. So
yes, with
it's
lightning speed. Yes,
right. So it's not a game people should be playing for sure. So it is all about integrity, relationship building. It's all of those things. So most
right.
definitely, yeah. All right. Well, we should probably wrap it up so you can get
Yep,
on with your festival that you're going to take your girls to. And
yep.
I'm so glad that you came on. And I don't know, I'm sorry about the technical difficulty with
Oh,
the thing, but we had a good group on today. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, it's been great. We'll put the links in the comments afterwards so people can
yep,
get a hold of you. And do you have any
yeah.
final thoughts that you'd like to share before we say goodbye?
Just oh, I just seen Trey Cook just started watching. Hey Trey. Um, but yeah, just drop a comment and like I said, if you want more information on that equipment, then we'll get that out to you. Any questions about it, feel free to look me up, give me a call. We can definitely get you guys all the information you want. Um, yeah, drop a comment and we'll send out. We got a bunch of stuff here,
Mm-hmm.
so we wanted to send it all out to everybody. Just comment on it, and then I'll reach out to you and grab your address, and we'll shoot you some stuff out. And yeah, and as far as that goes, the hot box, just watch for the um, Facebook post, and we'll just go from there. And then one lucky member will win it.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome.
well,
Thank you so
well, thanks
much
for
for
having
coming
me.
on. I'm so glad
Yeah,
you did. I'm really glad we got to finally. I've talked to you on the phone before, but we've never talked face to face. So it's nice that we got to do that today.
yeah, you too. Well,
And you're welcome.
we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're welcome back anytime. So please,
Definitely.
please come
Looks like
back.
you're pretty booked up over the next couple
You know,
months, but
it's crazy. Like I think December is almost full. So yeah, we've got a lot of cool people coming up too. So I'm just thrilled that people want to come on and chat and talk about everything. So it's been really nice for sure. So nice way to get to know people in the group
yeah,
and just learn more about us as individuals. And I think, like I said all along, this was created so people could share their stories, because I think everybody has something that somebody can learn from, or you know if somebody needs something, they can reach out to them. It makes it more personal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, cool. It's been
All
fun.
right. And everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll go back and we'll answer the questions and comments. And I appreciate you guys always tuning in. And we will see you all next week. So bye for now.
Bye. Cheers.